So, ayan. Magandang araw ulit sa atin ngayon. So, ngayon panonoorin natin yung part 2 nung LGBT Satanic protester. So, let's start.
Coming out here.
You told us that
one
we
test.
did not belong here, even though I was born, raised, everything here.
When did I say you don't belong? I said the spirit.
You said
I
us
said-
as people
I said
over
every
there.
wicked-
That group of people do not
you know
belong
what you know
here.
what you need to do? What you need to do is go back on the live stream and listen.
We will.
You want a card?
No,
Yeah,
not really.
How are you gonna know where to go?
Because I've already
we have already
seen.
we found your Instagram.
So just listen back on the live stream and then you'll hear exactly what it is.
She had a question.
Yeah, I do. There was one thing in particular. I mean, there was a few things in particular that really struck me as disrespectful that you said.
Sure.
But there was one thing in particular that you really did that, to me, went against everything that you were preaching about. There was a gentleman over here that may have misunderstood a statement that you said, and you made a comment on his education after he had already asked you to not make comments about his education, and then you decided to make a statement of the fact that by your thought he would have only had a 4th grade education, which I felt like was a little bit of bullying, which went against what you were preaching earlier about the fact that you were bullied your whole life.
It's a perspective.
And it felt like to me you were bullying that man who had just told you that he did not want you to make comments about his education. And so I just wanted to know whether or not you had a response to that, if you had any sort of
yeah.
rebuttal.
I mean, you have a perspective on what I said, and I have my perspective on what I said. I mean, when you're having street dialogue and someone's trying to bully you off the corner and make fun of your religion, and I think what goes for the goose goes for the gander. If you're gonna misquote me and misdirect what I'm saying,
I don't think
then
Does that mean
hold on.
that you would
I'm
do?
answering you.
Okay.
I'm answering you. Sometimes you have to make comments in similar nature so you can get the point. It's a way of expression. If you ever listen to hip hop, rock and roll, death metal, whatever, I'm sure there's a lot of forms of expression that I could say I don't agree with, but that's the form of expression.
Okay.
So I said what I said in my context. No disrespect intended. I hope all the best for him as well as for you. But I wanted to make a point that if you're going to be so bold and assertive against somebody, and you better be able to take that back.
I mean, I would
If
say
you're going
the
to throw
same.
out stuff like
Yeah.
that and say you know the facts, act like you know the facts,
Why do you
then
think
I'm
she's here?
I'm going to be
I don't
able to say.
necessarily. I would actually kind of say that for the same on your hand though, because I tried to even ask you if I could come over and have a conversation with you, and I also tried to rebuttal and say things back to you, and you would just interrupt and yell and preach at me while I was replying to something that you were saying to me, such as when you called me a witch. I actually have no religious feeling whatsoever. I honestly just really like this outfit, so I wore it down here,
You like wearing
and I tried
witch
to rebuttal
outfits?
you
It
for
was a
what you had
gift from
said,
me.
and instead
You like giving witch outfits.
yeah,
It's a nice style. I mean, it's
but
not a witch outfit. It's
regardless-
something that just says
even
witch
if it
on
was,
Black Lives
regardless. Thank you.
I'm the only one that's black in
regardless.
this conversation.
Doesn't mean we can't agree that Black
I'm
Lives
sorry, you
Matter.
had a gentleman over here that said White Lives Matter
Yeah.
over there, and he was
White
standing over
life,
here.
your life matters to you're white.
Not in the same way,
At
but
this
I,
current point, we're standing up for people who.
Stand up
need
for
it.
me. Why are you guys bullying me over
We're
there?
not
I'm the
bullying
only
you.
I'm the only black guy here. Oh,
we're not.
he's
it's not a
black.
racial thing. We're not bullying.
You guys are
Yeah.
saying Black Lives Matter. I'm the black guy.
What I'm trying to
Yes,
say, if
your
I
life
can,
does matter. It's
So
the
does yours.
fact that yes, we all
If
of
this
us matter.
building is on fire right here, that's the building that's in concern, not any of the houses
Which
down
means
here.
the fire
This
trucks
is
would
the
come
Okay,
see
you
immediate
guys
place.
realize you're white people talking to a black guy right now.
yes,
right?
but we're not talking to you about police or anything.
Actually,
I'm
I was
talking to
just
you
talking
about
about a
the hate that
man
you
who
spew.
you
Okay,
had
so
in your group
let's
over
finish
here.
her conversation because we're all over the place. Black Lives Matter stuff.
My
I'm the only
comment
black
was
guy
the
here.
fact that I was trying to rebuttal you about what you were saying because you were speaking directly towards me. You called me out of the front, and I was speaking directly at you. And instead of talking to me and taking back what you were giving me, you were over speaking me and speaking very, very loudly and aggressively. So if you're saying that he should be taking that because he was giving that to you, you didn't do the same thing for me.
Okay, well, just in all fairness, I was preaching a message. I do want to finish my message when I'm speaking. So if there was a lot of people speaking, trying to speak over me.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with yelling at you. I'm preaching what I'm preaching, sharing my message.
But you were preaching it at me.
Hold on. I'm preaching it to all of you, actually, not just you.
Well, yes, but
Ayan, na tinatamaan siya dun sa preaching, kung mapapanood nyo yung part 1, tinamaan siya dun sa preaching nung preacher. So, yung preacher, nagsasalita lang naman yan eh. Ano yan? Sino yung nakikinig? Wala siyang tinutukoy na, hindi yan magbabanggit. Hindi man siya nagbanggit ng pangalan. So, siyempre, mga protester yung mga yan. May mga kasama siyang sumisigaw-sigaw. Na-hurt yung feeling siguro niya na hindi siya sinasagot kapag nagsasalita siya. Habang nagsasalita yung mga kasama niya, sumisigaw, di ba?
That was my point. If you can interrupt your message in order to ask a man if he had a fourth grade educational level, then I think you can interrupt your message in order to have me rebuttal and tell you
I
I'm not a
chose
witch.
in my message to speak this way and to stop at that point.
And
I
I'm just
didn't,
trying to
and I didn't choose to stop at every point where everybody. And to be honest, your voice is not that loud. And to be honest, I did hear you trying to say something.
I was
But-
looking right at you and I went like this
Sure.
and raised my hand.
But you have to
talk
also
you.
understand that there's a speaker in front of me, and it's drowning out your voice. So whatever you were trying to say, as far as I know, I see someone over there, like I said, wearing a witch outfit with a pentagram, and it's true.
Pentacle.
So,
Yeah.
Correction.
sorry,
Pentacle and pentagram are two different things.
pentacle, pentagram. It's okay. So now that you have an opportunity to talk, what would you like to discuss?
I feel like it's a little bit, crazy might not be the right word, but that's what it feels like to me, for you to say that people of religion go through worse
Oppression.
trials, tribulations, oppression than LGBT people,
Well,
or just any people of any sort
I
of.
think in every generation
religion.
we have different groups receiving oppression and persecution, right?
Yes, but you did state that as a fact for you,
Yeah,
which
it-
is what
no,
I
it-
agree, disagree.
Okay. Have you ever asked any Christian about it?
Yes.
I used to be Christian.
Have you ever done any research about Christian persecution? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You have. So what did you find?
I found that it does happen sometimes.
Sometimes.
Oppression.
They're actually
But
the most.
the
They're
fact
actually the
that
most persecuted group in
ours-
the world right
Right now?
right now. Yeah. Look it up.
No,
Look it up.
I don't think it's the most.
Yeah, I know you don't
persecuted
think,
people.
but look it up
Is it because they're Christianity?
because of their Christianity.
No.
So who's persecuting?
All right. So we're just gonna go yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Just look it up, study it.
I mean, the main reason why I came over here.
But
is
they're not-
because
but
I
it-
wanted
but
to
it's-
know
but
why
it's
you
not-
bullied a
but it's
grown
not
man. I thought
LGBT.
you said I was speaking. You didn't want me to interrupt you while you were speaking, but you're interrupting me while I'm speaking.
Right now.
Yes, you just tried to interrupt me and I had to speak over you. I just mainly came over here because I wanted to know why you attacked a man who might not be mentally all the way there, may have mental disability of some kind because he misunderstood something you said and tried to claim that he had a fourth grade education
I didn't
level.
claim. I asked him.
Yes, after he had repeatedly asked you 3 times to not mention his education level.
Okay. So
Or
so
make
just
comments
because.
about his education
Okay,
level. If
so
I
let me
can
ask you
please
something.
finish my statement.
Sure.
And then you would not interrupt your session to conversate with me when I had very politely raised my hand and motioned for you to keep conversating with me after you called me out of the crowd 5 or 6 times.
thought
So
we
I
passed
just want to
that
know
already.
I just wanted to know why. I'm not saying I didn't get the answer that I expected to get whatsoever because you really just kind of went roundabout and didn't really give me an answer. But at this point, I'm not even necessarily wanting an answer. I just wanted to be able to
Say it.
ask you to see if you'd either answer me or at the worst
I-
point just get called
Oh,
out
forgive
because
me,
to
I-
me it's a huge double standard.
Forgive me. I actually thought I answered you already.
Yeah, well, you
but
answered me in
I'll
your
answer
way.
you. Well, that's the only way I can answer.
I know. I'm aware of that now. You're one of those people that talk in circles and don't make sense when they have a full-on conversation.
What would you like from me
That's all.
right now?
I just wanted to know what in your right mind made you think that it was okay to call out somebody's education level or make assumptions out loud on their education level when they asked you multiple times out loud not to do so. But then you wouldn't give me that same courtesy, I guess, or respect of a rebuttal when I had motioned to you to see if I could have a conversation with you in the moment while you were calling me out.
Okay, I get you. Like I said, your voice is not that loud. And
You didn't see me while you were looking at me go like this?
just because I'm looking that way doesn't mean I'm paying attention to all. There was a few voices making noise, and I have to pick and choose in my discussion who to talk to. I'm not sure what you were trying to say or not say. and again, there's a speaker there, and I always entertain a conversation like I am right now. But now you have the opportunity to talk to me about whatever you want to talk
To
about.
be
Now
honest, I got out the majority of what I
okay.
wanted, and I don't think I'm going to get any straight answers from you, so... At least
Okay,
not...
so we're wasting our time right now.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
But I just
did you
wanted
want to
to.
say something? Thank you. I've answered you twice.
The reason why it compelled the three of us to come out, us three in particular, we live together, was there's a lot of stories online about you and your organization. I don't know who in particular, was the doer of these things, but there's a lot of like really nasty things on the internet about your organization, and of course, one of them, the most popular, being the man being put in the hospital for months on end for him getting assaulted, having to have the rest of his life having plates in his leg. And something like that, when you hear something like that, you want to make sure that the people in your community are protected and safe. And there were a lot of disrespectful things going on. I'm glad no one got assaulted today, so I think that's a celebratory thing. But it's really, I don't really have any questions. It's more or less just stating, the reason why we decided to come out today.
Well, I'm not. I mean, I don't know if you guys are the type of people to examine both sides of the story.
I do. Yeah.
I hope you would.
I'm very unbiased.
That's me. I'm not unbiased. First of all, I wasn't there.
Okay.
And what happened has nothing to do with my organization. So
okay.
that's
it goes around. Sorry.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
The left-wing media wants to make me look bad, and I had nothing to do with this.
Okay.
The guy that's preaching in that other area has nothing to do with my organization. He used to come to my church 3 years ago.
Okay, sorry. It's whenever that story circulates on the media,
my name comes up.
Your name comes up.
Yeah, which is actually, we're thinking of pressing charges and suing the media.
Okay.
Because, again, my organization has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
So the sad part about it is you got a whole community riled up about me, and I wasn't there. This has nothing to do with my organization. So now it's an attack on my organization, my name, and my entire religion. And this is religious discrimination and bigotry at the highest level because I wasn't there. This has nothing to do with my organization. So how are you gonna? It's like going to school. Someone has a grade 3 teacher, teaches them mathematics, and then it's the same guy that graduates from university, gets his bachelor's degree, robs a bank, and then the media is like, oh, but did you know that this guy went to school in grade 3 and had Mrs. Clark as a teacher, and Mrs. Clark should be banned from everything because this is the disciple of Mrs. Clark.
Which I can understand.
Like, unbelievable.
I think it goes. I don't think it's.
No. This is unbelievable because my organization and me has nothing to do with that situation.
Right.
Now, I reached out to Justin Morissette. When I found out that my name is being brought in, my organization is being brought into this, I reached out to Justin Morissette, and I put this on my social media. You could see the message. I say, hey, man, Justin Morissette, just want to let you know, like, we had nothing to do with this, and me, my organization, and my religion, when I had nothing to do with it.
I don't think it's the methods that are used within it.
Like what?
Well, see...
To the fact that we quite literally live here, and you're trying to tell half of these people, oh no, well, none of you live here. No, I get a right to speak about my hometown, born and raised here. I will always fight every single day for the people I love and I believe in. Here's the thing. I went to Catholic elementary schools. I believe everybody deserves to get to believe in what they want. The thing is when you're endangering anything to belittle, to disagree with, I'm somebody who grew up thinking I couldn't love somebody because they had the same body as me. I have been shown nothing but kindness. And growing up here, having the people I didn't know teach me how to accept and to love. I didn't grow up straight Christian. I didn't. I'll say that. But with the people I've met, I believe God exists. I believe Satan exists. I'm not sure if you're familiar with any Greek mythology. Bastet, she's a queen of fertility, love, and she's a beautiful warrior who protects her people. I believe in many things, but sending hatred, I don't hate you, I don't hate your organization. I don't like that people have gotten hatred from that, and they are belittled and told that they can't love who they love. They can't be themselves. If they were born in the wrong body, they deserve to be who they want to be. That was what they were given. One of the main messages I'm always told is, if you were born in this body, that's what God gave you. But your body, your temple, you get to decorate how you please. That is how it should be. Nobody should get to take that away from you.
Look, I'm not sure if like everybody has the right to their perspective, but if I came here to assemble with my people in peace, and to anyone who wants to hear me, there's another group there protesting and trying to get you off the street, tell you things like welcome, putting your middle finger up at you. I'm not sure why you don't see that as hateful.
I do see hate.
Because that was coming from your group. I didn't come here for you. You came here for me. So who's the antagonist
When you
or
have
the person?
people-
No, listen.
Sorry.
Listen to me.
Fine.
Look. You're entitled to do whatever you want to do with your life and be whoever you want to be. This is your freedom as a human being. Now, it's also my freedom as a human being to share my perspectives and my beliefs. And I started off talking about that. And I heard the riling behind me. I heard all of that stuff behind me. The hateful comments behind me. Even when I wasn't even talking to you. So, if you want to say who started it, who's you? Because as far as I know, you guys don't really know anything about my organization. You guys came under the presumptions that I have something to do with Justin Morissette and a broken leg.
May I add something?
Let me just finish. And I had nothing. So you came here with false pretenses to protest me, harassing me, hateful statements against me when I wasn't even talking. And then now, for some reason, because some guy had some fact and I hit him back with a response that you didn't agree with, that's fine. All of a sudden now you excuse all the hatred you threw at me, all the vitriol you threw at me.
Sorry, but what about the hateful things that came
Hold on.
towards us? No, I know. I'm just interjecting. I'm sorry.
You started with the vitriol and all the hatred towards me. I wasn't going to talk to you.
So, yun pala yung dahilan bakit nandun yung mga protester. Kasi merong dinikit na issue yung media nila, media sa bansa na to, dito sa preacher, about to sa Justin Morissette. Dinikit siya ata yung, hindi ko alam kung ano yung issue na yun. Siya yung sinisisi noong mga protester. Ewan ko kung ano nangyari, harassment or kung ano man. So, na pinaniwala na itong mga protester. Kaya sila nagpunta siguro dyan.
Sound provocative, I'll take that. And then all of a sudden now, you forget what you did to me. You made me feel unwelcome from the start. When I wasn't even talking, I said nothing hateful to you. And then now, you want to turn the tables around and say I came and hated at you, and then throw this Justin Morissette stuff at me, which had nothing to do with it. Now, if you look at it in a factual, logical, chronological way, we'll see who the perpetrators were, and it was you. Now, listen,
No.
I can handle that. Because it doesn't, I understand that in life, we're going to have people that don't like you.
I would like to make a point, so just one of your
Go
previous
ahead,
statements
go ahead.
before it gets too far from it.
Go ahead.
There was one statement you made about saying how we came here first with all this hateful message, which I get against you. I understand that that's how it comes across to you.
Was
how
it true?
we attacked you. If you are in your home and you hear all your friends in the media, the newspaper, everything telling you that these people are coming and they have sent hateful messages or gone and told that your people can't live because they have a different body than what they were born with, or they can't love who they love, you hear that they're bad against everything you stand for. Would you not want to stand to defend your home if they're coming inside your home? to the place you reside, you would want to defend it, correct?
You know what I would do? I would look into it first. And this is what I would do. Maybe everyone's different. Most people are sheeples.
But what I'm
They just-
saying is
hold on,
every single
I'm
media
responding
outlet.
to you. I'm responding to you. What I would do is look into it first. I don't care what media says. A lot of fake news out there, and I don't know if you noticed that, but it's so
I've-
obvious over this last COVID-19 stuff. You can see all
the way they
fake
treat
news.
the riots.
All right. So first of all, I don't judge people based on what media says or what people say about people. I get to know them for myself. So I'd probably come down like you, and I'd probably want to hear them for myself before I judge. I'd be like, what is he saying? I'd probably come up to the person and say, can I have a conversation with you? I heard this in the media. Is this true? Just to get the other side from the horse's mouth. That's what I would do. And if I find out from the horse's mouth and I do my research, it's not true, then I'd probably tell my friends, like, hey, you know what? I think you're wasting your time with this guy because I think you're misdirecting your anger.
I came here late today, so do forgive me for not knowing this. Did you have a session before all of the preaching and your speaking? Did you have a session in which people could come up to you and ask you questions beforehand? Because I know you're scheduled for Regina as well.
Yeah. I'm actually late. I normally do, but today, because there was a large group of Christians,
Yeah.
we just had some prayers. Forget. I don't know if we sang a song. Did we sing a song first?
I did hear a hymn coming
We
down.
probably sang a song, and then I just started sharing a message about freedom of religion and speech, freedom of expression in Canada. And then, meanwhile, I was doing that. Your group, which just hated on me and behind me for the whole time, which for what I don't know. And then I said, I'm going to share the gospel, and so I shared my story. I said, look, I came from a broken background, a messed up situation. I was bullied. I was rejected. I was in jail. I was drugs, women.
I had a teacher bully me for jewelry that I might have worn and telling me that I was deficient in the mind. I understand bullying.
So I've been through a lot, and I addressed some of your guys' bullying towards me by saying, what, look, it seems like you would prefer me the way I used to be, and some people were cheering and like, yeah, which is kind of weird. But anyway, you guys have your rights to do that, and then I was telling them, look, God loves you guys. God cares for you guys. God's calling you to Him. He doesn't want you to walk in pain and anger. He doesn't want you to live in drug abuse and alcohol abuse, cutting yourself. Like, God loves you, man. God has a purpose for you. And I kept saying that to you guys, and then one of the friends started, attacking me with some words, and that's when I said, well, what's your education level? Because he was coming at me with some fake facts and telling me some nonsense, and I was like, what? Do you have an education? And that is aggressive. I'll give you that. It's a straightforward response. But in this world where people are swearing and cussing us with a middle finger, I think that's a very mild response compared to curse words.
Everybody fights for what they believe in.
Yeah, and then he kept going, and I'm like, man, I mean, I don't know what something about fourth grade education. It was provocative. I'll take it. I'll own that. But in no way was I saying that he has no hope. It's not I'm here because I believe that everyone has hope in Christ, and Christ died for you. And that was my consistent message through the whole thing. And why? And then someone brought up Justin Morris's leg getting broken, and I tried to respond to that guy. I said, you want to know why? Well, first of all, the story is that I wasn't. I said, first of all, were you there? No. So was I there? I wasn't there. But from Justin Morris's own words, there was a guy preaching on the beach. He didn't like what he was saying. So he decides to take it in his own hands, coercion, to take his mic, which is assault, because you're going to have to touch the guy or even steal the guy's things, which is wrong. And then the guy whose things it belongs trying to hold his mic, there's a little scuffle. Now, in that little scuffle,
Okay, yun pala yung naalala ko na yung issue dun sa Justin Morissette. So, yung Justin Morissette, merong preacher, hindi siya, merong preacher na nakasalubong siguro niya o nilapitan niya, tapos kinuha yung microphone ng preacher. Tapos, syempre, di ka papayag na kunin yung hindi naman sa kanya. Sa'yo yun eh. Sa'yo yung mic eh. De, siguro, inagaw niya ulit. Inagaw niya yung mic. Tapos nasaktan yung si Justin Morissette.
Justin ends up falling and breaking his leg. I don't support violence. It's sad that he broke his leg. Now, who's responsible for broken his leg? I mean, why did that happen? I mean, this can be debatable, but in the rule of the law, if you look at any law, someone who attacks you or tries to steal your stuff, you have a right to self-defense and a right to secure your property by law. So, if I'm going to go and try to steal your stuff, you have the right to stop me. Now, if you touch me, stopping me, that doesn't make you the bad guy. It makes me the bad guy. Because I came and assaulted you. If I try to rape you right now, and you fight me back, would it be fair that you go to jail for me trying to rape you?
And the unfortunate situation is that actually has happened before.
Which is horrible. That's not justice. So the street preacher that gets assaulted and gets his things taken ends up going to jail because Justin, unfortunately, in his bad action, breaks his leg trying to assault a man. The guy who he assaults goes to jail. Justin Morissette becomes the hero. Media's painting, and they're not looking at the other side of the story. Now, Justin admits this. He admits in his own words, he attacked the guy.
Inadmit niya na mali yung sa hypothetical scenario nung preacher dun sa rape. So, inadmit niya na dapat makulong yung rapist kasi tapos may mga nangyayaring yung ni-rape yung nakukulong. Tapos ngayon inano niya naman do sa issue nung kay Justin Morissette. So nakulong yung preacher dahil nabalian niya, na nasaktan, tapos nabali yung legs. Tingnan natin kung ano sagot.
And yet,
Tingnan natin ang sagot niya.
and the LGBT community calls him a hero. Now, they're calling him a hero because they don't like the street preachers. I get that. But according to the law, the guy, he brought that on himself. Now it's sad. I reached out to them. Look, man, I'm sorry you broke your leg. I hope it gets better. But, I mean, you can't be attacking somebody. What he should have done, if the guy was saying something so awful, he should have called the police and said, hey, this guy is saying hateful things or whatever. You should have took out his video camera, record what he's saying, call the police, or get his friend to record, call the police. And if it's true that what he's saying is so bad, he would have got arrested. No one, he would have had his leg broken. No one would have it. This wouldn't even be an issue. But he decides to do something wrong. He hurts himself doing it, and the media now, they're not looking at the whole story, which is wrong. And then my name. And what makes me peeved about this whole thing,
Is that your name ended up being
I'm not
mine,
even
too?
from the province. I wasn't there. And this has nothing to do with my organization. But for some reason, the left-wing media feels it's right to take a name, an innocent person, and blast my name, my picture, my organization all over the media. And I'm the real victim here in this whole, not Justin Morissette. And Justin Morissette is threatening me. He threatened to violently take my stuff and assault me on public media. I posted it on my Facebook, take snapshots, and he's still the hero.
So, yun. Doon na tayo natatapos. Misinformation, hindi man nila kasalanan. So, ang may kasalanan talaga dito yung media. Well, kasalanan din nila, naniwala sila agad. Pero yung left wing media, yan. So, nagsisimula na, matagal na tong video na to. I think 2 years, 3 years ago pa to. So, yung attack sa simpleng gawa si kasi ang may gawa nito, si Satan. Simpleng gawa niya lang na atakihin yung followers, 'di ba? Maaaring hindi direct kasi ang tinikit nila sa pangalan ng preacher, David Lin. Yung pangalan pala niya, David Lin. Yung issue para magmukhang masama lahat ng preacher. Parang siya ata yung pinakasikat ng preacher sa Toronto, sabi niya. Awan ko lang kasi nabibring up yung name niya pag usapang preacher, usapang ganyan, mga about sa Bible. So, hindi lang dyan sa marami pa buong mundo, sabi niya, totoo yun. Isa yung mga Christian sa persecuted na organization na pinapersecute sa buong mundo. Kung matatandaan nyo yung mga pinapatay sa Middle East, somewhere there, basta yung parang kailangan nilang i-denounce or papatayin sila. Nito lang yun, nitong January, lumabas yung mga nag-leak yung mga picture nila kung saan pinatay sila. Nakaluhod sila, nakahilera sila, nakaluhod. Doon, mga may nakatutok na barel, yung hindi ko lang alam kung merong pinugutan, pero yun. Ano lang yun. Pero dahil nga namatay sila, hindi nila, ibig sabihin hindi nila denounce si Jesus Christ bilang Savior, 'di ba? So hindi lang diyan, marami pa sa buong mundo na kung saan na-persecute yung Christian community. So, yun lang, abangan nyo yung next video natin. So, maraming salamat and God bless.